Alright guys, so today I'll be talking about the worst toys I've experienced over the years. I think now I'm old enough to talk about this stuff. I'm not a little kid anymore, no little mama's boy. So we're gonna go right into it. First toy ever I can remember, like the biggest trend, one of the worst toys, is these giant animatronic looking things. These things were made by Fisher Price, and the ones I remember most fondly of was the dinosaur one and the Bigfoot one. Because as a kid, I was walking through Target, and then I remember these things were in giant display cases. Like, it was like the biggest toy, the coolest thing out there. So they put up in displays, and all the kids would be walking by, be like, wow, that's so cool, right? So the reason why it was a bad toy was because of how expensive it was for a toy, right? So let's say you bring your mom to Target, or, some other store, Toys R Us. You would see the big toy on display, and every kid saw it was like, Mommy, I want that for Christmas, right? And then of course the moms be like, oh, well, let's see how much it's gonna cost, or how much it's gonna set us back, right? And then she looks at the price tag, and it's like $100-$200, I think, something like that. Something pretty insane for a toy like that. It's not like you're getting a 3DS or, like a Wii. This thing's a huge giant dinosaur robot that probably it only had a couple of uses. I remember that it can, pick up balls, balls, but it can also pick up a bone, walk around, spin circles. It can roar and light up. That's pretty much the only things it did. Like, that's it. It's not even taking the fact that you had to charge the thing, and most kids, 6-year-olds probably didn't charge the thing. I know I didn't. Most of the time, the only time I remembered actually playing with it was on Christmas, and after that, I did not charge it or do anything with it at all. I just played with it right there, didn't do anything. I also remember how popular this toy was. It was everywhere I went, even other stores, because I remember seeing coloring books, sticker packs, backpacks. Dude, I swear there's t-shirts out there, probably, maybe. And then I also remember there's a point where they made budget version of these toys. They would take the original model of these toys and make them super tiny, think of a small chihuahua. And that thing was budget version. I'm pretty sure only had one button. You press it and it makes it sound like rawr, and that's it. That's all you got compared to the big one. So it was even a bigger letdown, because that thing was $20, which is pretty reasonable, but it's literally just a hunk of plastic that does one feature. Okay, that's all I'm going to talk about, the dinosaurs and the Fisher Price animatronics. I'm gonna move on to bracelets, bracelet toys. That was the biggest thing in elementary school. I remember going to school, kids always had some sort of silly bands. Silly bands were a big one. The rainbow loom bracelets, they had little rubber bands, things that go in their braces. Those were used to make bracelets. And then there's also transformer toys, bracelets, beads, animals that would transform into a bracelet and also a toy. So it was a 2-in-1 combo, the shampoos, 5-in-1 men's shampoos, that type of deal. First off, I'm gonna start off with silly bands. Silly bands weren't really super big at my school. I just remember kids wearing them around and finding them on the floor. That was the only really fond memories I have. Because I do remember there were some cool ones. They had ones with glitter in them. And then there was also a Silly Bands video game. I remember I had that. It was actually pretty alright. At least I can remember. I can't really remember much. I just remember Silly Bands on the 3DS. And at school, kids would always steal them from each other. It was like Pokemon cards. It was pretty much the same thing. Kids would just be like, oh, this one's cooler than yours. You should trade it for mine, right? And it would be a one-off deal. It'd be a Wolf on Wall Street type deal. Someone's always getting scammed. Kids would be bawling their eyes out, be like, oh my god, I lost my silly bands. For me, it was a really big deal. It was just a rubber band, but more sick. The things that were really a trend at my school was the rainbow loom bands. Those things were actually pretty cool. Kids would become a Picasso or some kind of super crazy artist person when making these things. It would be triple layers, rubber bands, bracelets, or single layers. Those are the only ones I could do, was the single layer ones, because I wasn't super crazy. These kids had a talent. They were gonna go somewhere someday with that type of stuff, but the trend eventually died out. but that was a really big part of my elementary school experience. We had a black market type deal with these type of things, because I remember them getting banned at my school because kids would go nuts with them. There'd be scammers everywhere, there'd be stealing. Like, it was straight up like a GTA game out there on the playground. So I remember there'd be black market deals like during lunchtime and during break. Kids would be out in the behind the lunch tables, be like, "Hey, bro, you got like some silly bands or something?" Not silly bands, rainbow balloon bands. And someone would be like, "Yeah, I got them," and just give them like $3 for that, or trade as fruit roll-ups, because those are really valuable at the time. And I'm gonna move on to the most craziest, I guess, bracelet trend during my elementary school years. It was the animal transforming ones, because I remember I had one, but the reason why I had one was because I found it on the floor, and finders keepers, so it was pretty cool. It was more of like a girls thing, but like everyone was all about it, even though it was like marketed towards girls, but everyone had one. And whoever had like the coolest one, like I remember there used to be like rare ones. They used to be like super sparkly and shiny, and anything sparkly and shiny was like super rare for kids. Like same deal with like Pokemon cards, like I was talking about earlier. The shinier the card and like the more sparkles and like how much it shimmers, the more I guess valuable it is on the playground. The reason why this trend is so dumb is because it's literally a bunch of rubber bands or a piece of plastic on rubber bands that kids wore around. Like, that was literally the whole trend, was who had the coolest looking rubber band. Like, can you believe that? Like, out of anything, some office supply was like the coolest toy. Like, we had Nerf guns, right? Nerf water guns, so many cool things. It was laser tag, there's football, soccer balls, but no, the coolest thing on the playground is a stupid rubber band. Like, I don't understand. It would be charging kids like $30 for a single rubber band. Like, that's kind of insane. Like, bro, these kids out here selling and dealing with rubber bands. We needed some kind of narcotics team on that. So moving on from rubber bands, the most popular toy I think everyone from like the 2000s would remember are pillow pets, which is I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty alright toy, but like, why? Like, how does someone come up with the idea of a pillow pet, right? Like, homie folded in a pillow in half, right? And then put a face on it. Like, dude, honestly, I think someone was doing the dirty with the pillow. Like, cause we were all 14 once, right? You saw the couch in the living room looking kind of thick, and give it a few whacks. But pillow pet, right? It was literally just a pillow, different colors. You fold it in half, and you put a face on it. That's literally the whole thing. And then they charge you $40 for it, so it's kind of insane. Because I'm pretty sure a reason why it was so successful was because of all the ads. Because I know everybody and their mom has heard the Pillow Pet theme song at least once in their lifetime. And it's ingrained in my brain. Like, every time I hear it, it's like I've been hypnotized, and like I sing along. Like, I know this song by heart. The same thing with the Chia Pet song. I know everyone's seen the Chia Pet commercials, Chia, all that shebang. It's the same deal here. I think what made Chia Pets great, or not Chia Pets, what they're called, Pillow Pets great, was all the options available for the kids. There's like a turtle, a bee, a ladybug, a dinosaur, I think, maybe. It was just a lot to pick from, but the reason why it was such a bad toy was literally it was just a pillow. Like, you don't need to make your pillow a toy, right? Your ladies can just, it's something to sleep on, And also, like, what are you supposed to do with your pillow to play with it? It's like, how is it a toy? It's a pillow pet. It's literally just a foldable stuffed animal. Because at least stuffed animals, they have one purpose, but when you try to combine two things into one, it doesn't really work out too well. Not really saying these toys were bad toys, it's just saying it's kind of like a really dumb ideas for these things, and I don't know how they became trending toys. That's just the main problem with them. Like, it's fine if it's kind of niche, but they were trending, at least for me, like throughout my childhood years. But that's all I got to say for today. See you guys later.